Welcome to today's Parent. We are passionate about inspiring you to be the best parent that you can be, connecting you with experts and providing you with information that you need. When it comes to kids and money, when can you start teaching your kids about money? In studio today we have Lucy Mwakaba of The Lead Child. They are passionate about instilling values, leadership, and of most importance, teaching kids about money. So Lucy, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Now, as you've said, we are very passionate about teaching values, money, and also leadership. As a mother who has 2 girls, that is very important. It's a very subjective thing that I'm doing, but also I've realized the importance of inculcating the same values to this generation. Yes.
I agree with you. I mean, whether it's boys or girls, it's important for us as parents to instill the values, especially when it comes to how our kids spend money and just understanding money.
Yes.
So let's start from when does a child understand what is money? I'll explain. Where I'm coming from is I have a 2.5-year-old, and I'm always amazed at the speed he comes to me when I tell him, Baba, shika pesa. So when he thinks about pesha, like mom is going to give me pesha, he can do anything for pesha.
Yes.
So then it makes me wonder, it's possible that kids have an understanding of money from way back when they are young.
Yes.
Is that true?
It is very true. So what you'll realize is that children might know of money, but they don't really understand the value or where it comes from.
Okay.
So to start off, you need to start teaching them that what is money and where does money come from. So both as a parent and also the program that I run, sorry, it is, we get to understand that children don't basically understand where money comes from. When you ask a child, where does money come from? They'll tell you the ATM or the bank.
So money comes from the ATM or the bank?
Yeah. They don't understand that mommy or daddy work to get that money there. So that's the basis where we start, by teaching them, okay, fine, money, this is money, there's coins and there's notes, but this money comes from somebody doing some work in order for them to earn money. So even as your child who's 2.5 years old asks you about money, it's important for you to start that conversation, that mommy goes to work, daddy goes to work, and then they are able to bring that money.
So you need to work for the money.
Yes, you need to work for the money. And you're not...
So money is what you get from working.
From working.
Right.
Yes. And you see now, even where our children are concerned, they will get money through various ways. Like, for example, they can get gifts, you know, during their birthday, or Shosho has come and they're giving them money.
Shosho's always giving out money.
They are always giving out money, yeah. So it's important for you to show that, yes, you'll get money in various ways, but the ultimate thing you do is you work to earn that money.
Interesting.
Yes.
So how we teach kids what money is?
Yes.
Through telling them that money, you earn money by working.
Yes, yes, and that is important. And also the second thing that is important to do is to teach them the different types of money.
What are the different types of money?
So in Kenya, we use Kenyan context, okay? Because our program has enabled us to teach children even from different systems.
Right.
So they are talking about dollars, you know, the pound, but being in a Kenyan system, we focus on shillings.
Right.
Okay? So we have coins and we have notes. Now you'll realize that many times children will come and tell you, Mommy, I want a bike. I want, name it, whatever it is you want, they want you to buy for them.
Right.
And the reason they're asking for that is because you have this coin jar on top of the fridge, for example. They keep on seeing coins going in there, and they're wondering, why does Mommy keep on saying she doesn't have money? You know, for them, that does not make sense.
Right.
So you need to teach them that coins are of lesser value than notes. So if you have coins buy little things, notes
buy bigger things.
Yes, as simple as that. You know, for your 2.5-year-old, it's not necessary to get to the details, you know, but just teaching them that when they get a coin, most likely the only thing they'll get to buy is a sweet. You know, so you're teaching them the value of money, that little money buys little things, a lot of money buys a lot of things.
Interesting.
Yes.
So what I'm wondering as I'm sitting here is, if I have a 2.5-year-old and a 10-year-old, and I'm sure their parents who are watching who have older children.
Yes.
So in the different age brackets, I don't know how far we can go, how do you teach money for the different age brackets?
So, true, as you've said. The younger ones, you just introduce, it's a basic education, okay? And the thing about money is that you don't sit down with your children and say, today we are learning about money. Not really. Use every moment as a teachable moment. Anytime they come and they're asking you for stuff, you use those opportunities to bring the money lessons, okay? So now for the 2-year-old, you can just introduce the difference. Now for the older ones, it's important now to get deeper. Like, what work can you do to be able to earn this money? First of all, you've already taught them that you need to work to earn money, okay? So you're inculcating the work-money relationship, which is not there necessarily. It's not obvious. It's not a given. And especially in this generation where we have a lot of betting, okay? Children are already being brought up in a scenario where they are being taught, if you bet, you can make it win.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
you can make it, you can win big. But how do you change that conversation and start telling them, no, betting will not necessarily earn you money. You need to get your hands dirty. So for the 10-year-old, you start having that conversation of what work can you do, okay? And because it's a home setting, we start at home.
Okay.
Yes, we start at home. So before you get outside and do other things, let's start at home. Chores. Now, when we have, yes, when I
You
know,
can read my mind.
I
because
know,
I
know.
I can see my 10-year-old
Yes.
charging me for everything.
I know.
Mama, I've brought you the remote.
Yes,
Money.
yes.
I've
I
taken
know.
the plate to the kitchen.
I know.
You have to pay me. So how do you mitigate that?
So now, even when we run the program, we usually have parents really a bit skeptical about that. Now, unfortunately, money cannot be taught theoretically.
Has to be practical.
It has to be very practical.
Right.
I can't sit down with my 9, I have a 9-year-old and I have a 6-year-old. I can't sit down with them and tell them, when you grow up, I'd like you to become very prudent where your money is concerned. It has to be as practical as possible.
Right.
And that's why we say, okay, these children are at home. How can we ensure that they interact with money so that now they can learn how to be good where that money is concerned?
Right.
So now, for the children who are, we look at the 13-year-olds and below, you can start helping them to earn money through chores. Now, when you're teaching them about chores, first of all, you have to tell them that by the fact that they are part of this family, they will work, okay?
Right.
They will work. And they will not necessarily work for pay. You'll work because you belong to this family. And everyone chips in. But then now you introduce what we call commissionable chores.
Commissionable chores?
Yes.
That's new?
Yeah, commissionable chores.
Explain.
So I'll explain. So chores can be categorized into two: commissionable and non-commissionable chores.
Right.
So commissionable chores are chores that you can pay for, okay? Non-commissionable and chores you shouldn't pay for. For example, a child making their own bed, that's an uncommissionable
their
chore.
responsibility.
It's their responsibility to do that. So
Right.
we expect them to actually do that. If they wipe the table, and and children are very, very amazing in the sense that they say, if I draw the curtains, mommy, I need to be paid. No. There are some things that they shouldn't be paid for.
Okay.
Now, commissionable chores are chores that require a little bit of effort. For example, if you have a car, allow your child to wash the car. 10 to 13-year-olds, they can do that. Maybe cleaning the house and helping in cooking, those are things you can pay for because
Right.
you're looking for the lesson, not necessarily the chore.
Right.
So now, when it comes to paying, how much do you pay?
How much is too little? How much is too much? Of course,
Exactly.
It depends
It depends with
varies
parents.
from parent to parent, but
But we even teach the children, be competitive. Because if I can take my car to be washed and I charge 250 and they'll do a good job, you can't charge me the same. You get?
So if I take my car to the car wash,
Yes.
where on average say I'm charged 250,
Yes.
and my boy wants to wash my car at home,
Yes.
so you're saying should I pay the 250 or less?
Less
or
than
more?
that, because they'll not do a good job like in a car wash. You get? And they are starting fast. It's a lesson. They are learning.
Right.
Yeah. So you tell them, be competitive in the sense that if another chore that you can pay for is babysitting. If I have a house manager who at the end of the month I pay a certain amount, and you're saying every time you babysit, you want me to pay you 500. I can't afford you. Yeah, I can't afford you. So be affordable. Ask for money that your parents can actually afford. So we start at 50 shillings.
Right.
We start at 50 shillings. We say, grow from there, depending on how good you are at the service you're providing.
Right.
Okay? So for the 7 to 13-year-olds, it's chores. For the 14 to 18-year-olds, we ask them to get out of the house.
So to get out of the house
Yes.
and
Earn money.
earn money.
And earn money. Because for the 14 to 18-year-olds, I'm expecting you to cook. You're old enough. You get? Where the house is concerned, I'm expecting you to clean the house. That's part of your responsibility. But now, I'm saying, if you're living in an estate, for example, instead of thinking at your parents' car only, you can start looking at your neighbors' cars as well.
Go out of your way to see how you can make extra money.
Extra money, okay? Because I've said already in my house, that's what I expect you to do. I expect you to help me wash the car and stuff and other stuff
Right.
without pay. So for you to get pay, you can go to the neighbor's house and say, if I wash your cars, I'll charge you 100 shillings
Right.
or 150. You
Right.
see, I'm cheaper than if they are taken to the car
To the
wash.
250 person.
Yes, so that, you can ask for that. You can ask, a child can start a babysitting service in the estate. You know, you're already trusted, you're already known, so parents can be willing to leave their children with you, okay? You can start baking. If you're passionate about baking.
That's a good idea.
Yes, you can start baking. You can start making bracelets.
That's a very good idea.
So think outside. We tell them think outside.
It
Don't
encourage creativity as well.
Exactly, exactly. And you start earning money. And the idea is for you to start interacting with money as early as possible.
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
So we've learned about what money is.
Yes.
And how to generate money.
Yes.
So we're going to take a short break. And when we are back from the break, we are going to talk about what it takes and the values we need to instill in our children on saving money and how to spend money. We'll be right back. Welcome back to today's Parent. On today's show, we are talking about kids and money. And before we went on the break, we had a question that came in from Kibet in Eldoret. His question is, how can we teach our kids to save money? How do you teach a child how to save money? Lucy,
Yes.
what's your take on that?
So, with anything in life, it's important for us as parents to model what we want our children to learn. Okay? So if you want your child to develop a saving culture, it's important for them to see you doing it.
So they need to see me
Yes.
saving money.
Yes, yes. And how can you do that? Now, it's very easy. It's very easy. If you have a goal, you can set a goal as a family. Let's say, for example, you can say, at the end of the year, we'd like to go to Mombasa for holiday. Instead of you making it a parental thing, a grown-up thing, where you're discussing maybe with your spouse or maybe with other family members,
Right.
you can discuss it with your children and say, at the end of the year, let's plan to go to Mombasa. And how can we do that? Do that by saving towards it. And how can we save towards it? So as a parent, you can model it. And how can you do that? Many of us as parents, during the weekend, we take our children out. And we spend quite a lot of money. So you can say, we can forego going out every weekend. So we can say, maybe every month, we go out once. And the money that we would have spent, we
This
put
other
it...
weekend?
Yes, this other weekend, we put it aside.
Interesting.
So that is one way in which you can teach your children how to save. Number two, when they start earning money through chores, either through chores or through doing business,
Right.
as 14 to 18-year-olds, the thing you can teach them is you can teach them how to divide that money into 3.
Right.
And how do you do this? You can have them get jars, see-through jars,
Right.
where they save their money. Especially if your house is, your household is trustworthy.
Right.
So they can have 3 jars, and the 3 jars can be labeled. Jar number 1, giving. Jar, yes.
So jar number 1 is
for giving. Yeah. Jar number 2 is for saving, and jar number 3 is for spending. Now,
Okay.
I'll explain each jar.
Right.
So, the reason why you want to teach your children about giving is because children are, and even adults, are selfish in nature. So if they earn that money, the first thing they'll think of is, how can I spend this money?
On myself.
On myself, all of it. But you want to teach them the importance of thinking about other people. If you're a Christian, you can teach them how to give in church. So instead of you every Sunday giving them offering, they can actually dip into their own money that they've made to
wow.
give. Yes. You can also teach them to give to the less fortunate. So, you know, you can go to a children's home where you do shopping with them. So they own it and they start learning how to give as young as possible.
That's a good point.
Yes. Number two, the
second
second
jar.
jar is the saving jar.
So the first one was the giving jar.
The giving jar.
Second one, the saving jar.
The saving jar. And this is how you're teaching them to start saving as young as possible. Remember, I've told you our program will start at age 7. So even as young as 7, you're teaching them how to save money.
Right.
Now, here's the rationale. They are not required to chip in where the family is concerned. You've not asked them to pay rent. You've not asked them to pay the water bill or anything.
Right.
So the money they make is ideally theirs. They can save as much as possible. But even where adults are concerned, saving becomes very easy when you have a goal set.
So teaching them at this point
Yes.
to have a goal of how much they would like to save.
Towards what?
And towards what?
Towards what? It's not
Wow.
just
So
the
you start
saving.
with the towards,
Yes.
like a project.
Yes.
Or something you, of course,
Or
something you want-
something they want to buy. So a child would come home and say they've seen so-and-so with a pair of shoes that they like. You know, brands, the brands that we have. So they want that. It's not that they don't have shoes. They have shoes, but they like this kind of shoe that is more premium where cost is concerned than what they have. So you just tell them it's okay. You want to buy that? Or I want to buy skis. Or I want to buy this or the other. It's fine. You can save towards
So they have a goal.
They have a goal.
Right.
And maybe whatever they want to save. Like for girls, I see sometimes they want to buy, you know, boots, a pair of boots, and, you know, depending on the age. It could be very expensive. You tell them, if you save half, I'll match it. Okay? So if something costs like 4,000, remember they're earning through chores, that you're paying 50 shillings.
Yeah.
That can take them so long and they can get discouraged. So you can say, if you are able to raise half of what you want, let's say if they want something that costs 1,000, if you raise 500,
I'm going
I'll
to top
match
up
it.
for you.
Yeah, I'll top it up for you. That now, the third jar, the spending jar, even as an adult, you don't just work. You spend it as well on
That is
yourself.
true.
And for the children, it's sweets or buying chips or something like that. So it's okay for them to spend it on themselves. Now, the reason behind a clear jar is so that they can see their money.
So they're motivated, as it grows, they're motivated to keep saving.
Yes, and they're very visual. So you can't say, let's take all of it to the bank. They'll get tired. They don't see that money. But the money that they keep on seeing and they see it growing, it becomes a motivation for them to continue working and continue earning.
I'm wondering if these tips that you're sharing, if they're applicable to, it sounds very preteen. Can you do the same clear jar for your teens, or do you then look into doing a bank account?
Yes.
What works best for
Yes.
older children?
So now for older children, they can start there. But ideally, ultimately, they would want to put their money into the bank. Where now you start thinking of teaching them towards saving for greater purchases. You get greater purchases, or they want to go for a trip. You know, at the end of their 4th year, they have a trip that they are going for with their friends. So they could save towards that.
Right.
Now, the difference between our Kenyan culture and maybe in the States is that in the States, by the time children are 14 to 18, they could actually get jobs.
That is true.
Yes, they could get jobs. They could work in restaurants and stuff like that and even earn more money. But the Kenyan culture is totally different. But now I've seen, for parents who run their own businesses, it could actually be an opportunity for you to take your child to work, okay?
Yeah.
For them to learn. What exactly does mommy do? What exactly does daddy do to earn money? It's important. I see it very often with the Asian culture. They do that. And that's where they are way ahead of us.
Especially when it comes to entrepreneurship.
Exactly, because they start inculcating that to a child when they are so young.
Yeah.
So if you're a person who is in business, or you have a community of people who do different businesses, start introducing your child to the different things, okay? So that they start learning how to earn money through doing business or through being creative. And then now you bring the issue of saving through the bank. And then now, depending on how mature your child is or
Right.
how well they get it, you can start thinking of investments as well. Yes, you can start thinking of investment. Not necessarily shares, because shares are up and down and they can be discouraging to a child who wants to see their money, you get, the actual money working. So you can talk about, the money market.
You know, I wonder how you explain. What I'm wondering is, how do you explain investment to a child? Like why it's important and the how and what it is.
Yes. It depends with the age. You see, you gauge a child's understanding. Of course, for a 7-year-old, I will not bring that. I'll not bring the investment issue. But you can do it as a parent. You take up that and say, every money that you make, 1,000, I'll take it towards this. The reason why I was saying there's a difference between our Kenyan culture and the States is because now in States, children even save to buy cars.
Wow.
Yes, they say children who come for exchange programs, you interact with them and they tell you they saved towards it. You get? So it's something that we could start shifting. At the end of the day, we are in a very different generation.
That is true.
Yeah? It's a global generation. So we cannot allow the limitation to our thoughts that we've had to impact us. The other thing I would like to bring up is also the issue of, when we are thinking of work, we are thinking of, the careers that we know of.
The usual
yes.
9 to 5. Employment.
But this is a different generation. We are talking about children who are social media influencers. They are seeing their peers earning money through social media. So that is not something that we can, try and avoid. It's a conversation that we need to have. Like, how can a child also use social media to get influence? You get, but in the right way. What protections do we put? What kind of security do we put to ensure that even if this child decides this is the way they want to go, they'll still be safe doing it? Yes.
You're very right, because a friend of mine was telling me there's a child online that kids really like. She's called Emanuela. And I understand she's making a lot of money from her YouTube channel, from her stand-up comedy. So the future is bright for kids. It's just how we teach them about money and harnessing their talent as well. So you do have a good point.
Yes.
So let's talk about, we've talked about the first one, what money is.
Yes.
We've talked about how to make money.
Yes.
We've talked about how to save their money.
Yes.
And spending the money. I don't know if there's a formula of how we spend money or
there is.
Is there anything you want to add there?
Yes.
What can you top up on that point?
So when it comes to spending, the buck stops with us as parents. So number one, you have to show your children that spending is very intentional.
So spending should be intentional.
Should be intentional. So how do we teach our children where spending is concerned? Number one, something that maybe I should have said before is that it's important for you to tell your children what work you do. Because you'll find it even with the interactions we have in the program and even with children around my space. Children don't know what their parents are doing.
You've raised a very important because when I come back home, my older boy is always asking me, Mom, you're always working.
Yes.
Or Mom, you are working again. Or
Yes.
Mom, you're going for a meeting.
Yes.
If you are to call my boy right now and ask him,
Yes.
where is Mom?
Yeah.
He'll tell you Mom is at a meeting.
Yes.
But I don't know if he connects how the meetings and work and earning all come together. It would be important to show them what we do.
It's important because then you demystify the work-money relationship. That mommy goes to work and she spends, like for example, my children know that mommy is a teacher. Okay, so mommy goes to teach children, mommy goes to learn where teaching is concerned, and that's how she's able to earn money. So when mommy is seated at the desk, at my laptop and I'm reading, they understand that I need to do this in order to bring money at home. Okay, so it's important as parents, demystify that. Stop saying you go to work, what does mommy do? Job.
What kind of job?
Yeah, what job do you do? It's very important for them to learn that so that they can make the relationship.
That when mom, dad goes to work,
Yes.
they earn an income,
Yes,
and
yes.
then I'm able to give you, your money for chores and
Yes,
all that. Then
yes.
you're able to save and we're able to do stuff.
Exactly. That is number one. Number two, when it comes to spending, you cannot be a parent who splashes money around and you expect your child to do the opposite. Because if every time my girl comes to me and says, Mommy, I want, and I give, then she learns. I'm teaching her that whatever you need, I'm at your beck and call. I'll give you. No. You teach them that no. When it comes to spending, it is very intentional. When we come to spending, when we go to the supermarket, for example, we have a list.
So we buy what is on the list.
We buy what is on the list. And it may look like you're becoming very rigid, but it's a lesson you're teaching them. You want them to learn that it's important to be intentional in your purchases. Okay? So when you go to the supermarket with them and you have a list, what we usually do at home, we are like, okay, let's look at the list. What is on the list? Let's pick what is on the list. Once in a while, you can, add the, oh, Mommy, can I get chocolate? Can I get Kinder Joy and stuff like that? Once in a while, you can add that.
Right.
But it's also important to teach them, let's stick on it. Let's stick on the list. Why? Because it's important. And also, when you have, like now when I was saying before, when you have already taught them that if we have a goal we are working towards, then splashing money affects our goal as
That's
achieving
true.
the
True.
goal.
That's
okay?
true.
Okay. So now, when it comes to spending, we talk about budgeting.
Budgeting,
Yes.
very important.
We talk about budgeting. So when it comes to budgeting, we talk about needs and wants.
The difference between needs.
Needs and wants. And imagine children understand. How do you teach
I
them?
need,
Yes,
what I want.
yes. A need is something that is very important for us to have.
If a parent wants to connect with you when it comes to matters money
Yes.
and the program that you run,
Yes.
how can they connect with you?
So if we plan programs every holiday season, and every season we go to different places. So maybe I could ask them to contact us through our Facebook page, The Lead Child. They'll be able to
So your
find us.
Facebook page,
Yes.
The Lead Child?
The Lead Child.
The Lead Child.
Yeah, and then now we'll continue that conversation from there. But it's important to start as early as possible. If I cannot repeat any point, that is what is important. Start as early as possible. Demystify money. Demystify money. Yes.
Thank you, Lucy.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
And we look forward to hosting you another time.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
Thank you very much. Thank you for watching today's episode of Today's Parent. We have been talking about kids and money, how we can inculcate a culture of saving and teach our kids how to spend money better. In studio, we had Lucy Mwakaba, who shared insights on how we can go about this. And I know for parents out there who've been looking for this kind of tips, I hope you found this show to be truly helpful. We've been on location shooting at Little Cribs, the home of exciting, durable kids furniture that are also affordable. I've been your host, Christine Casina. And if you're looking for parenting information, go to www.supermamas.co.ke. We look forward to seeing you next time. Please join us in the next episode.